When it comes to creating sustainable wealth that can last for generations, what you shouldn't do is just as important as what you should. For centuries, the Jewish people have built long-lasting wealth from generation to generation using rules hidden deep in their religious texts. And guess what? These time-tested principles, rooted in centuries of wisdom, are guaranteed to work for anyone in any economic climate. Today, we'll be going through them all by dissecting every detail and facet, leaving no stone unturned. Guys, this is more than just a lesson in wealth. It's a roadmap to financial freedom. You don't want to miss this. Before we go into the business of the day, have you ever wondered why 67% of the Forbes 400 are Jewish, despite making up only 3% of the American population? Over the years, a lot of anti-Semitic views and beliefs have circulated around the globe, but the truth is that is all garbage. In the Jewish tradition, there is absolutely nothing wrong with being rich. As a matter of fact, a lot of rabbis preach that wealth is a blessing. There's nothing virtuous about being poor. And the best part is that they're incredibly thorough about it. Acquiring wealth is one thing, knowing what to do is another. And the latter is precisely where they excel the most. Want to know something that's gonna blow your mind? The Jewish people have an incredibly high cost of living, even for things as mundane as a grocery bill. Families that adhere to dietary laws pay premiums for kosher food. Even poultry slaughtered under Jewish ritual law typically costs 50 to 100% more than its non-kosher counterparts. And in the case of beef, these prices can rise by multiple figures. According to one study handled by CNN, a brisket purchased at a kosher store was over 7 times more expensive than the exact cut of beef at a non-kosher store. And sometimes bottled cans typically cost more when they bear a kosher certification on their label. And don't even get us started on Jewish holidays, especially Passover. This 8-day holiday can cost observant Jews up to hundreds, if not thousands of dollars more, given the numerous dietary practices often followed. Then there are the membership fees. Synagogue dues can vary, ranging from a few $100s to well over $3,000. These fees serve to support a staff of professionals and maintain the physical facilities. However, the greatest cost for many Jewish families comes from education, with the majority preferring private schools that have a higher tuition fee. When you put all of these into perspective, it's easy to see why Jewish people need to make more money than the average American. How else would they be able to afford their traditional high cost of living? The Jews look to the Talmud as the great source of inspiration, and why wouldn't they? It's a great source of wisdom. One of our favorite explanations of the Talmud is, if one takes his studies by heaps at a time, he will benefit but little. But if he gathers little by little, he will gain much. While a lot of people make the mistake of emphasizing money over time, Jews understand that the latter is far more valuable. You can always get more money, but you can never recover time. Time is the most precious commodity. As such, most Jews spend their time acquiring wisdom and wealth, plus contributing to society. On that note, let's look into some of the strategies that Jewish people use to build wealth, starting with education. Remember when we told you that one of the reasons Jews have a higher cost of living is because of their educational standards? Education is one of the key factors in the economic success of the Jewish community, and this often translates to wealth accumulation. Here's the bigger picture. If we told you higher education correlates with increased earning potential, would you agree? People with advanced degrees often leverage for higher paying jobs, enabling them to secure lucrative positions in sectors such as finance, medicine, law, and tech. And let's not forget the fact that financial literacy is enhanced through education, equipping individuals with the knowledge needed to make informed decisions about investments, savings, and overall wealth management. From a young age, Jews train their children to be independent thinkers and self-reliant enough to make sound financial decisions. And they grew to be better than their counterparts. You may have heard about the Jewish 5 jars method. Each jar is like a special box for different jobs. One's for helping others, one's for saving, one is for making money grow, and one for spending wisely. It's like learning to share, save for later, and use money in smart ways. This helps the children understand how to be responsible with money when they grow up and make good choices about spending and growing their money. Before we go into the next point, have you ever considered how amazing it is to have a formidable network? In the highbrow institutions that Jewish students go to, they have the opportunity to foster amazing networks with people of like minds and make valuable business contacts, which often lead to opportunities in the future. This leads us to our second point, which is networking. Just in case you had no idea, active engagement in personal and professional networks is deemed crucial within the Jewish community. Building and maintaining relationships through networking is seen as essential for unlocking business opportunities and fostering overall growth. This emphasis on networking aligns with the understanding that people tend to do business with who they know, who they trust, and find genuine. Jewish communal life provides ample networking opportunities, whether during the Sabbath, at the synagogue, or during various Jewish celebrations. These occasions serve not only as religious or social gatherings, but also as platforms for establishing long-lasting relationships, both in personal and business contexts. Make no mistake, networking is a valuable tool for creating opportunities and furthering economic success within the community. Moving on, Jewish people place a lot of emphasis on community support. Guys, this is another cornerstone of Jewish success. Jewish communities have a long-standing tradition of helping and uplifting others, creating a strong sense of mutual aid. And the amazing part is that this communal mindset stretches far beyond financial assistance. When someone in the community opens a new business, others in the community join hands in support. Unlike people from other backgrounds, where everyone is like an island, Jewish people tend to keep an eye out for each other. When someone faces tough times, the community will swoop in like a knight in shining armor to the rescue, and they don't even mind it. It's simply standard practice. Deeply ingrained in Judaic law, this collective support system emphasizes respect and protection for the less fortunate. Tikkun olam is the Jewish directive to repair the world. Similar to tzedakah, this creates the duty to serve those in need. By investing in one another, Jewish communities weather challenges and thrive, viewing wealth not just as a personal gain, but as a means to grow and strengthen their community. The fourth strategy is effective management. One of the notable points of this is diversification, a strategy where capital is spread across different assets to reduce risks. While you may be forgiven for thinking this strategy is rather unnecessary, it goes a long way towards ensuring wealth is never exposed to one particular risk or asset class. Think of it like not putting all of your eggs in one basket. By avoiding concentration in a single area, you can minimize the risk of economic fluctuations, resulting in a more resilient financial foundation. Let's consider these two imaginary individuals, Damien and Ellie, who have different investment strategies. Damien, influenced by the concept of diversification, spreads his investments across various asset classes, such as stocks, bonds, and real estate. He diversifies further within each class, investing in different industries and geographic regions. Over time, the value of his portfolio experiences less volatility, as gains in one area may offset losses in another. But how about Ellie? Putting all her money into a single stock, she believes it will perform exceptionally well. Unfortunately for her though, unforeseen challenges impact that particular industry, causing the stock's value to plummet and facing substantial losses in the process. Before we move on, would you mind a piece of advice? Consider diversifying your investments to make the best of your ability. 2024 may prove to be a make-it-or-break-it year for investors, so banking on one area might cause more harm than good. Another amazing strategy we'd like to share is their religious emphasis on good business practices. You see, Jewish teachings, including those found in the Torah and the wisdom of the Jewish philosophers, leaders, and writers, they emphasize the importance of ethical business practices. This creates a commitment to honesty and integrity in the business culture of the Jewish community. Dishonest practices such as deception, collusion, or price fixing against consumers is strongly discouraged and condemned. Over the years, this has given Jewish business people a golden reputation for being trustworthy, making them attractive partners in various ventures. How about a practical example? Imagine two car repair shops in the same neighborhood. One owned by a Jewish individual who strictly follows ethical business practices influenced by Jewish teachings. He always gives honest estimates, clear breakdowns of costs, and provides full transparency throughout the repair process. However, he has a competing shop just around the corner that has been reported for overcharging customers and suggesting unnecessary repairs. Given how customers who had a negative experience at the second shop would start looking for alternatives, hearing positive reviews about the Jewish-owned shop's fair treatment will always nudge the customer in that direction. Indeed, a good name is better than gold and silver. That said, have you ever heard the saying, "To get rich, learn from the rich"? This wisdom, rooted in the Talmud, emphasizes the need to study and understand the paths of those who have achieved wealth. Making dreams a reality involves more than a sudden decision. It requires learning from the best, a strategy that the Jewish community practices at basically every stage. Only by doing this first can you gain their rich experience, skills, methods, resources, knowledge, and so on. And guess what? This idea works even better when you're being mentored physically, because you'll also gain their trust, recommendations, and network, which could open a lot of doors much faster for you. It's amazing how we can learn secrets and tips on how to make, maintain, save, and invest money, which could accumulate and lead to wealth, just by reading the Talmud. It's nice that everyone can apply them and create this wealth. But above all these, the ultimate Jewish strategy that withstands the test of time is saving and having a budget. Let's break it down. When it comes to the pursuit of financial success, Jewish people think beyond earning. Savings, emergency funds, budgets, and frugality when necessary are pivotal. It's a bit funny how these components, often underappreciated by the average American, end up playing a pivotal role in the prosperity of the Jewish community. Let's start with the emphasis on saving. Unlike the average American, saving isn't an afterthought for Jews. It's a fundamental practice that has been thought of right from birth. Remember the 5 jars? The commitment to setting aside a portion of earnings contributes not only to short-term stability, but also serves as the foundation for future investments. By cultivating the habit of saving, Jewish individuals ensure a reservoir of capital for opportunistic ventures and unforeseen challenges. And this brings us to the safety net of emergency funds. Standing on the concept of saving, Jewish financial strategies involve the use of robust emergency funds. This safety net serves as a financial cushion during unexpected downturns or crises by not only safeguarding accumulated wealth, but also allowing confident and risk-tolerant approaches to investments. That said, none of these will be possible without budgets. While you may think that this is limiting, budgeting is your best bet when it comes to handling your money. By setting clear limits on spending and saving, Jewish people control how they spend their money. As usual, here's a practical description of how budgeting is amazing using an imaginary saver called Pam, who practices the Jewish method by outlining her monthly budget and allocating funds for essentials, savings, and leisure. Let's say she faces unexpected car troubles by the end of the month. Thanks to her budget's emergency fund allocation, Pam tackles the expense stress-free, instead of mindlessly spending as issues come up. Plus, she wouldn't spend carelessly on worldly desires like expensive jewelry and all that. That said, this brings us to the next point, where we have to talk about cutting costs. This less explored, yet potent strategy for Jewish financial success involves a discerning evaluation of expenditures, identifying non-essential outflows, and optimizing resource utilization. Every month, we spend mindlessly on things we don't need. From buying food out to spending lots of money on new clothes that we won't even use in a few months, down to the extra cars when it's not even that important. The bottom line is hundreds, if not thousands of dollars are being wasted every month. Even your daily coffee is a villain. So check yourself. Draw up a scale of preference today to analyze and identify your needs and wants. By reducing unnecessary costs on the latter, you wouldn't only conserve your financial resources, but also free up capital for strategic investments and avoiding debt. Here's something that really is going to blow your mind. According to a recent bank rate survey taken from 2,458 U.S. adults, a total of 35% of Americans carry credit card debt from month to month, marking an increase of 6% from 2022. Credit cards, while convenient, could have detrimental effects on your financial well-being. One major issue is that they encourage a lack of self-control, with impulsive spending being the major culprit. Have you ever noticed you spend more when you're with your credit card than cash? It's a mind game. When you don't physically see the money you're spending, you're more inclined to believe you're not being wasteful. You'll just keep on swiping your cards, only to realize you've spent hundreds of dollars in a store. All of these and more can be prevented by thinking hard and smart, like the Jewish people. You can never underestimate the importance of spending according to a well-cut plan.